Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tosh Customs and today we have a very special video. This is my 5-year anniversary giveaway video. Obviously by the title, I've crossed 5 years on Instagram doing customs, and so this is just a little way to give back to you guys. So the figure I have is Winter Soldier White Wolf version. I wanted to create a really unique figure, something that the Was No Shot Mezco would do, so that you'd get something very interesting and unique on your shelf, as well as something we haven't really seen before. And so I was going through a bunch of characters and I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, one, I really like tactical designs, and two, I want to, do something very, very different. And so I ended up thinking of White Wolf Winter Soldier because that is something we've never seen before. We know that he was in Wakanda for a time and he had the White Wolf title, but we never really saw him in action. And so this is my design based on what I think he would look like during that, little stint in Wakanda. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So starting off, we will look at the accessories first. So I'll put the figure to the side and I'll put both heads to the side as well. And let's dive in. So starting off, we'll start with the hands first and then we'll go to the weapons. So we have two different types of hands that are being used on the figure. The first one is the Mezco cable hands. And for these ones, I washed them in gold, and I'm trying to get the camera to focus really nicely. You can see it in the cracks and stuff like that, that we actually have gold coming through there. And so I thinned out some gold paint, put it through the cracks, and then took a tissue and actually wiped it over the surface so that the surface still stays silver, but we get that gold inside the cracks, very much like the Wakandan arm that we see in the MCU. And so I wanted to mimic that. And so you can see with all the hands that we do have those gold highlights inside them. The other set of hands he has are the gloves from the Ascending Knight figure. And I wanted to use these because they feel very tactical and very grounded. Mezco doesn't have too many good gloved hands that look realistic, and so I really liked these because these feel pretty down to earth. They're not too fantasy. And Winter Soldier, even though obviously has a robotic arm, he's still a very grounded and very tactical military character, and so I wanted to reflect that. Another interesting note is that this trigger hand, generally the glove has kind of a bump on it for the Ascending Knight, which makes it really, really hard to hold stuff. And so to counter that, I actually dremeled out the inside of the hand there, and so I made some more room, and so it holds the guns a lot better. Speaking of the guns, here we have our first one. I do believe this is like a 1911 style pistol or maybe a Beretta. I got this pistol from the CW Deadshot figure, and I painted it black, and then I added a little bit of weathering to it, and then I actually took like a really coarse towel and rubbed it over the grip again, so the grip came through with the gray and the orange, but you have some of the black running through the cracks still, so it does feel a little grimy, but overall looks pretty nice, because originally these guns come in more of like a gunmetal silver gray, and I thought that was just too shiny for Winter Soldier, so I went with this. The next gun he has is from the Marvel Legends Winter Soldier figure. It is the AR, the M4 platform, and what I wanted to do with this gun was, well, one, I chose it because it's a soft plastic, and I like that because a lot of times a lot of these rifles, they have these really hard stocks, and it tends to scratch up against the arms when you repaint them. And so I wanted to use this because it's softer, and so it won't be as abrasive to the arm when you're posing and stuff like that. I also liked it because it had the grenade launcher, the 40 mic, so that's pretty fun. But I repainted this whole thing. So originally when it comes with Winter Soldier, it's in gray, very gunmetal grayish plastic. So I sprayed it all black, and then after that I dry brushed it with this this sort of deserty tan camo color. And it's actually two different shades. I started off with a really light tan that I mixed, which was like a light flesh tone with a little bit of brown, And then I actually took a deeper brown after that and dry brushed it over the surface again. So there's a little bit of some darker weathering, and so it just toned it down a little bit. And I think that looks really, really good. And I feel like it fits the setting that Winter Soldier would be operating in, which would be Africa. And so working more with those desert dry grass tones in the gun is pretty cool. So really fun to repaint. And I think it turned out really nice. The final accessory I have, this was Cable's spear originally. It got fully repainted. And so with it, it used to be blue. So I think, if I remember correctly, it's been a while, but like the metal parts were more of like a gunmetal, and then the handle parts, like the grip parts, were a blue. So I ended up spraying everything a chrome silver because I wanted this to be a vibranium spear that Winter Soldier could use. And then I dry brushed some gold over it, and you can see it a little bit inside the blade. You can see some hints of some gold in there. I'm not sure how much the camera's picking up, but there is a little bit. And then after that, I did a black wash over all the grips. And so all the grooves and stuff are now picked out in black, which I think looks really, really nice. And so that was super cool. Another thing I noticed since I had the spear is there's like a porthole in the bottom. Let me get the camera to focus. There's like a porthole in the bottom there. And I don't know what Mezco was doing with that, because I tried to fit like different pegs and stuff, or even like some of the gun blasts that Mezco gives, and none of them fit. So I don't really know what this bottom port is for. If anyone knows, put it in the comments, because I was really, really confused on why it was there, because it looks purposeful. So, but yeah, so that's how I painted that up. And then I also put the ribbon over the end of the spear. And so it does get a little bit more of a tribal feel, you know, just something to bind up the top. So yeah, that's the spear. And you know, when you guys see it in photos and stuff, it'll be all painted up. And so that'll be really cool. So now coming over to the figure itself, let me raise the camera a bit so that we can look at him straight on. So here is our Winter Soldier White Wolf figure. I'm trying to think of where to begin. I'm gonna talk first about the internal structure of this guy, and then I'll talk about all the design elements. So the internal structure is pretty interesting. So in order to get the spear, because the spear is what I really wanted from Cable, I had to order the PX version of Cable, the previews exclusive version. And the previews exclusive body with this arm, it's not actually on the standard sort of like Mezco ball butterfly joint that it normally is. Instead, it's on like a solid peg that runs into the body. And so what I ended up having to do is actually cut the arm out. And as you can see, the shoulder joint in here is black instead of silver. And that's because I had to cut the original silver one out and actually replace the joint in there so that I could plug it into the body. So that was the first hurdle of this figure. The base body, in terms of the torso, the upper arm here, and then the upper legs, that is set up from the Tactical Batman. And as you can see, it is that Tactical Batman cloth patterning, and I have painted the rubber lines in gold. And so you get some nice gold highlights throughout the suit there. And so I think that is pretty cool. And so, you know, I was thinking of Black Panther's vibranium suit and sort of how to translate that for Winter Soldier. And so now he has sort of a Wakandan-esque vibranium undersuit that he's wearing, you know, with his more military tactical wear. So I think that looks pretty sweet. So that's the main chunk of the body. This arm is from a Mezco Punisher, but you can, and that's because it's the only full arm that fits proportionally that I could find. Thank goodness I had used Mezco Punisher for another project, and so I had some leftover parts there. And then these boots, oop, he wasn't standing very flat. There we go. His boots are from the Mezco Blade figure, and so I did replace the lower legs. So the lower legs below the knee are the blade legs, so that they would have the proper ports for the boots. So there was a lot of internal part switching and stuff like that. These pants are from the Deathstroke Mezco figure. These are actually the last pants I have of this style. So I'm going to have to find a way to restock, whether that be through, you know, custom figure tailors or finding stuff online. So big sad, these are my last pair of black pants, but it's a worthy cause. The tactical vest I'm using, I used it on my bullseye figure and actually took apart my bullseye figure because he just wasn't getting much use. So this vest was from that bullseye figure, and I repurposed some Titanfall and Halo parts to build out this front vest here. So I think that, oh, and then this is a Daredevil shoulder pad. So I think that covers the different parts used to the most part. And so, yeah, obviously a lot of different stuff got cobbled together. I think I probably spent about 2 or 3 hours in the workshop just trying to decide, you know, what parts were going to be on him. Should I give him a short sleeve? Should I give him a long sleeve? How that kind of stuff was going to work out. And so I finally settled on this, and I'm very, very happy with it. So let's talk about design cues. It was really interesting to find a way to mix like Wakandan technology and bringing in that very you know, African heritage design cues into something that feels much more Western and military, because you know that the outfits aren't the same, the armor, the gear isn't the same. That's just, you know, that's just the way it is. And so how do I mix the two? And so the nice thing was this Titanfall vest, it did have the teeth there, and so that very much mimics the vibranium, like, you know, nano machine tooth necklaces that Black Panther has in the movie. And so that was a really nice starting point for me. And so let me move the camera. And if we zoom in here, there we go. If we zoom in, there is a brown painted string that runs through all the teeth, and the teeth are picked out in a nice bright gold. And so that was a really nice place to start, and I'm glad I had this piece on hand, because that was a good way to mix the, you know, mix the two themes together and still make it feel like it fit within the Marvel universe. And then from there, a lot of it was just deciding functionality and how to still bring those vibes together. And so I took this, you know, more of like a ghillie suit-esque scarf, and this is from a Halo figure. I don't remember which one. I think it's June, J-U-N, from Halo. I'm not too familiar with Halo, but I think it's Halo Reach or ODST. And so I took the scarf off of that figure and sculpted it down onto the tactical vest. And then what I did was I took this little shoulder cape piece, and I actually looked up the Wakandan alphabet on Google. And so I actually wrote in the Wakandan alphabet White Wolf on the cape. And so, you know, Black Panther has all the different writing on his suit. And so, you know, once again, a way to mirror that and mirror those design cues, I wrote it on his little shoulder, over the shoulder cape there. So we have that. Some other things at this point was just kind of figuring out functionality of how the rest of his suit would work. You know, I laid out most of the cool design elements, and so now it was asking, what does he need to be a functioning soldier? So obviously he has his bigger ammo pouches up here. So then I included two pistol holsters, or pistol holsters, no, pistol mag carriers on the side of his belt, as well as added a bunch of other extra pouches along the sides and back so he can carry different gear and stuff like that. And so, you know, I've talked about it before, but we have the mag holder on the left side so that when he draws the pistol from his right hand, you know, he's carrying it in his right hand, so he can reload, he can reload the mag with his left. So that's pretty standard, obvious, you know, obvious design idea, is very functional. And so we have the pistol set up on the left side there. We also have this drop leg holster, or this drop leg pouch here. This is also from a Halo figure. I've been looking for a character to put it on, honestly, for a long time, and I finally landed on White Wolf for it, and I think it fits really, really nice. It's painted in a rich leather brown, like so, with some black clips and stuff like that. And I feel really good about it. I don't know what it holds. Maybe it's like a med kit in case Winter Soldier gets injured. I don't really know, but I think it fits really well. And then on the other side, we have a drop leg pistol holster. And this is from, I think the original STL file was from Figure Gear, but I bought it off eBay, someone who had the rights to it. So it's in a soft resin. And actually, the Batman leg feels a little too big with all the pants. So what I ended up doing is actually clipping the back strap. As you can see, it's separate from the actual, this bottom back strap is actually separate and glued down to the pants because I needed the holster to have some more flexibility and to actually be widened out. So I did cut that off and just sort of, glued it down and made it look hidden. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the heads here because I really enjoyed making these heads. This review is going up on Saturday, so a couple days ago I did post up the head sculpt for this figure. And so I got this cast of the Black Panther mask from Action Figure Customs. He's out in Canada. And I think I said in one of my last videos how I was having some shipping delays, but they finally came in. And so I finally have the Black Panther mask here. And so what I did was I this is White Wolf. And so I sculpted a new nose so that it looks a little less feline and a little more, I guess, wolf-like. And I also sculpted these teeth. And so after that, I sprayed the whole head white. I actually realize now it looks a little bit white tiger-esque, but I'm also okay with that. I sprayed the whole head white. All the more engraving areas I painted in black and then picked out some other details in gold. And so the nose, the inside of the nose actually has gold in there. The teeth have gold, the eyes have gold, and then this little forehead crest also has some gold in it. And so trying to take that Black Panther helmet and sort of, once again, taking design cues and transforming them, took design cues from there, and then, was looking for a way to, turn it into what I was going for, which was a wolf. And I think overall it turned out pretty good. I was thinking about redoing the ears, but ultimately it made the helmet, turning it into dog ears that stuck up more or stuck out more, made the helmet very, very much less realistic to the overall shape of a person's head. So I just left the normal, more cat-like ears on, and I think it still turned out fine overall. I would have liked to reshape the ears, but honestly, as I was sculpting it, it was starting to look really ridiculous to have bigger ears on a helmet. So it is what it is in that regard. And then the other head we have is his unmasked head. And this one was really fun to design. So it's actually based off of the Iron Fist unmasked head. As you can see, the hair is the same. And so this is a cast from Action Figure Customs again. And so I sculpted a new beard on this guy. Let me get the focus in there. I sculpted a new beard on him because we do see Winter Soldier with a beard at the end of, I want to say it's Infinity War. No. It's going into Infinity War. Civil War? Maybe? I don't remember what movie. There's some movie at the end, Winter Soldier gets his new arm. You guys know what it is. I forget. But he has a beard. And so I sculpted a new beard on. And then I repainted the hair and everything like that. I also painted 2 little strings of hair on the top just coming down. And I think that adds a little bit of a nice disheveled look. It's nothing too crazy, but it just, those little details really do make a character. From someone who is, all clean and put together, you drop 2 pieces of hair down, it shows a little bit of wear, makes the character look a little bit more tired maybe. So we have that. And so, but it was just a plain face at the time. I'd painted the skin tone, I'd painted the eyes, and I'd painted the hair. And so then I was sitting there asking myself, how do I do justice to, African culture and that heritage and where Winter Soldier's living. And so I ended up looking up African war paint. And unfortunately, it was just Google images, so I don't know what tribe it's from. But I took design cues from that war paint. And so I did this almost like leopard spot pattern around the eyes, as well as these sort of like teeth scratch marks along the lip and along the eyes, as well as some more leopard spots around the side. And I saw multiple designs that had these this stripe and dot down the forehead, as well as stripes across the nose. So I followed those cues as well. And then to add some of my own design elements to it, I painted some of that classic Winter Soldier eyeshadow around the eyes, so that it does feel a little bit more Winter Soldier in some regard, but still obviously paying homage to the setting that he's living in and how he's fighting. So this was a super fun character to make, honestly. I'm going to put on the unmasked head now so that you guys can see it.
just a super, super fun character to make. It took a lot of thought, and I think I've said this before. I'm going to also put him with hands to equip some of his weapons. I do believe I've said this before, but designing characters like this takes so much more time. And I think I said it in my droid video, but even also balance, in that when I put the shoulder pad on his arm, it felt a little bit heavier, and so then I actually added the cape to sort of balance that out on the left side. Or even having a pistol holster, I didn't want to leave the legs all the way, the left side all the way bare, so I added the drop leg pouch there. So a bunch of, different design elements come into it, and there's a lot of thought. I can cover all the details or the important ones, in 15, 20 minutes, but there's a lot more time to get a design looking good. And so let me get the camera to refocus here. There we go. And then pose you up just like so. So this is the pose I've had him in for most of the time while I've been waiting to film this review. I've had him out here with his spear and his AR loaded up, ready to go. And I really, really like this guy. And I'm hoping you guys do too. Once again, the goal was to create a very, very unique piece that would sit on your shelf, and something that no one has had. And I couldn't find anyone who had done a White Wolf Winter Soldier, who had come up with anything near this design. And so I hope you guys like it, because I really, really do. I have much love for this figure, and all the stuff we're able to put together. And I think it was really cool, especially to repurpose that cable arm, and even to have to hop the hurdle of the shoulder joint and having to change out that swivel in there. In terms of articulation, because I know I have some people who ask me about that. In terms of articulation, he still holds an ab crunch, as you can see. He can come all the way back this far, scoot up. He's still able to utilize the full double joints on the knees, and his arms obviously still bend the full extension of the double joint. So nothing new or surprising there. He's really not hindered in any of his articulation. And that's something I try to make sure with all my figures, that they're still able to maximize their range, so that, if you're an ACBA person, or if you just like having more dynamic displays on your shelf, that my figures are able to, fit any of your needs in that way. And so I did work really hard to make sure that none of his suit and none of his design was actually holding him back in any way. And so I feel pretty good that I was able to balance that as well. So with that, I think that is the figure review. I didn't want to ramble on too long. A lot of my parts were reused parts, so there wasn't too much to talk about sculpting wise. And so it was much more about bringing the different paint and the design elements together. This whole figure's been repainted, and I could talk about everything individually. Like for instance, the Punisher arm, this is repainted because if any of you guys have owned the original Punisher, there's like a lot of dye staining and the arm is really pale. So this has been completely repainted. This vest has been repainted. You can see that there's some hints of like gray and forest green inside the vest itself. There's a lot of weathering done. There's weathering on this white plate up front. There's weathering on the boots. Obviously we have like matte black with some gray dry brushing to bring out those highs and low details inside the holster. So a bunch of different stuff. I should also probably show off the gold on his arm a little bit more. Once again, that same washing technique with the gold, so that the gold sits within the cracks and the silver still shows up on top of the arm. So yeah, I'm very, very proud of this guy. And I know I've said that a couple times now, but I really do feel like I've created an original design for you guys. And yeah, it turned out so well. I'm so proud of it. So hopefully you guys like it. Once again, this is for my 5-year anniversary giveaway. So if you do want to enter into that, go to my Instagram page. My username is Tosh_customs. I have my username inside the description of this video, as well as a direct link in the about section of my channel page. So please go check that out. And if you guys like my reviews, if you've seen other ones and you're enjoying it, please leave a like, Please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of your support, and it means a lot, you know, when I read, you know, cool comments and stuff like that. So, yeah, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you liked the figure. Yeah, and I hope you win it. So, thank you all, and good luck. Take care.